Welcome everybody. We're going to start lying on our backs today. You can either use a bolster, or if you don't have a bolster, grab a blanket and make a nice round with it. And you can choose how big your blanket's going to be and how large your round is going to be. So it could be, if you don't like a lot of height under your upper back, don't choose a very big blanket, or use a towel and only roll it up a little bit. And then take whatever you're using, place it widthwise on your mat and lie down over it so that it's at the bottom of your shoulder blades. That your arms rest out to either side or take them above your head. Choose the position for your arms that works for you. Give yourself a little wriggle and jiggle and get comfy. And then decide where you want to place your legs. You can have your feet on the ground with your knees falling together, maybe taking the feet wider apart, coming into resting pose. It's a lovely release for the iliopsoas muscle. Maybe you just like to stretch your legs out here. Perhaps the opening through your chest is enough for you. Or you can bring the soles of your feet together and take the knees out to either side. Coming into Buddha Konasana, butterfly pose, whatever you like to call it. Wherever you choose to be, let the weight of your pelvic bone settle down into the earth. Let your shoulders relax. So you're not holding tension. The neck is released. Take some height under your head if you need to. If it's feeling like you're towards the crown of your head, rather than on the back of your head. We're going to be stopping to start today. Taking the time to stop before we go into any movement. But there's always movement in the body. The heart beats if we're alive. The breath moves in and out. As the extremities of your body come into stillness, notice the movement, the subtle movement inside. What can you feel? What does the stopping mean for your mind and for your physical and energetic body? As you focus on your breathing, let your out-breath become a little bit longer. With each breath you take, allow the frame of your body to settle more towards the earth. Drop in a little deeper. Letting yourself fully inhabit this space, this breath, this moment. Take a few more breaths here, feeling into the depth of your breath, seeing how much of your torso you can access as you breathe. Can you feel the belly? Can you feel the back ribs? Can you feel the expansion through the side body? And of course, more obviously, the front of the chest, the easiest space, arguably, to breathe into. And as you next exhale, let the knees and feet come into one alignment with the knees bent, moving from whatever pose you're in to a basic neutral position with the legs bent, the feet on the floor. And then carefully roll to one side, moving your prop out of the way, taking it completely off your mat and returning to your back. You'll toe the feet a little wider apart, make the knees fall together. Particularly beneficial if you've been in butterfly pose. And take the feet even further apart. And we're going to windshield wiper from side to side, Focusing on the knee that's dropping inward rather than dropping outward. Taking one knee at a time and rolling that knee, the inside of the knee towards the mat. Letting it fall towards the mat rather than pushing it towards the mat. Notice the stretch to the outer hip as you let the knee fall inward. Keep the breath moving. And coming up to center, heel toe the feet back together, bringing the knees in towards the chest, giving them a little hug in. You can choose if you want to rock here, if you want to lift the head, or if you want to keep the head down. Deep, slow breaths, allowing the tissues to recoil, allowing the body to reset. And then take your feet to the floor, keeping the knees bent. Push into your feet to lift your arms, taking them overhead and lifting the hips up into low bridge. As you exhale, release the arms, release the spine and the buttocks. Inhale, lift again. If it's not comfortable for you to be moving the arms in this way, you can leave them still beside you or leave them if you'd like to above the head. But just as we did with the hips, it's important to get that movement through the shoulders, the ball and socket joint, the glenohumeral joint of the shoulder. If you'd like to, maybe open your arms out to the side and reach them above your head. And then exhale, lower, bringing them back in that half angel circle. Just to change the orientation. It's so good to do something a little different to what you normally do. Trying to get the synovial fluid into all the nooks and crannies of your body. One more time, lifting the hips up, rolling to the tops of your shoulders, and then exhaling lower. And then this time, bring the knees in towards the chest as you inhale, and then stretch the feet up to the ceiling. On an exhale, bring the knees back to the chest and feet to the floor. You can include your arms in this movement, raising them overhead as the knees come in and the feet stretch up, and then lowering them down as the feet return to the earth. Or you can leave the arms in whatever position works for you. Keep the movement going with the legs. Feel as you pull the knees in that you're compressing the abdominal region. We're stimulating our core as we move the legs. And also getting some lubrication into our shoulders with the movement of the arms. One more time, bringing the arms up and the knees in. And then this time we're going to challenge our mind a little bit by alternating the two poses. Start by pushing into your feet, inhaling, lifting the arms, lifting the hips. Exhale, lower the hips and the arms. Inhale, knees towards the chest and feet then towards the ceiling. Exhale, knees to chest and feet to floor. So it's a double movement with half the breath. Inhale, lift the hips, raise the arms. Exhale, lower the hips, lower the arms. You can move as slowly as you want, as slowly as the breath dictates through these poses. Notice when the mind stops paying attention and you begin to do things automatically. Usually that'll mean that you start to move into the same pose a second time. If you catch yourself doing that, give yourself a smile, laugh to yourself. It is so normal. And then bring yourself back to the present moment and observe what you're doing and pay attention again. When you next complete the legs, come to stillness and pause. Let the arms rest. Let the legs find a comfortable position to be at ease. Let the eyes close and see if you can notice your heartbeat. How's your body and your mind feeling? And then as you next exhale, let the legs come to one side, rolling yourself over to come onto hands and knees. Plant the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. And move through cat and cow, inhaling the belly down and lifting the head and the tail for cow pose. Exhaling round the back, drop the head and the tail for cat. Inhaling back to cow and exhaling to cat. Starting to move through some circular motions. From cat pose, the rib cage comes to one side, dropping down into cow and circling back, up and around into cat pose. Take another few big, deep circles. When you're ready to, change direction, circling the other way. Make sure you can allow the head to circle too. Sometimes it's nice to get the head circling a different way to the body. See if you can keep yourself coordinated as you do that. And coming to stillness as you exhale, let the buttocks sink back towards the heels, stretch the arms out in front of you. Take a deep breath in here. On the out breath, begin to walk the hands towards the right hand side of your mat, stretching through the left waist. Sink the left hip back, the left hand reaching forward. As you inhale, bring the hands back to center. And then as you exhale, walk the hands to the left-hand side of your mat. Opening now through the right side of the body. Right hip sinking back, right hand reaching forward. Feel the length that you're creating. Keeping your shoulder quite stable though. So you're not stretching apart the ligaments of the right shoulder, but rather reaching the arm and reaching the side body. As you inhale, bring your hands back to center. And then slide the hands down beside the knees, pushing into the hands to lift yourself up into an upright kneeling position. Inhale, raise the arms up. And as you exhale, sink your buttocks back towards your heels and bow forward with the arms outstretched in front of you. Slide the hands back towards the knees and inhale, lift yourself back up. Arms coming out to the side to inhale and out in front of you to exhale. Keep those two movements going. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to come forward. As you move, see if you can find a slightly longer out breath. How slowly can you bow forward, bringing the hands to the earth? Not straining or forcing the breath, simply encouraging it to be a long, slow exhalation. One more time, cycling through, inhaling to lift And exhaling, coming down into that extended child. And let yourself rest here. Allow the elbows and the forearms to rest against the floor or the mat. Let the head be supported. And as you inhale, bring yourself back up to tabletop. We're going to take our right foot forward between our hands. Let the left leg stretch back behind you. Take time to set yourself up so you're nice and balanced with the front ankle below the front knee. If your back knee is in pain or is uncomfortable against the floor, take some padding, a blanket underneath it. If you have blocks, they will be a little bit handy. Don't stress if you don't. It's not a major. It's just nice to have if you do happen to have them, and pop the blocks out to either side of your mat. You're ready to come into a little bit of a curvy twist, an opening of the chest. Plant your left hand and then lift your right arm up and open it back behind you so that your chest is revolving towards your front bent leg. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift again and open. Exhale, lower. And one more time, inhale, lift, open. And exhale, lower down. Take your blocks under your hands if you have them and pull back with your hips, peeling the front foot off the floor and slide the blocks back so that they're comfortably supporting your arms, lifting away from them, opening and stretching the back of the front leg. As you exhale, slide forward back into low lunge. So of course this can be done without the blocks, fingertips to the earth. Bring your hips back, peel the front foot off the floor, stretch into that front leg. And then slide yourself forward into the low lunge. Can you feel the lubricating that will be coming through your hips with these movements? And all the stimulation to the muscles along the back of that front leg. Moving in time with your breath or to a rhythm that works for you. Once more, pulling back with the hips. And then coming forward, returning to low lunge. From here, bring your hands on top of your knee, lift your chest. Lift away from the floor a little bit. Activate the muscles in both of the thighs. And you can stay here and breathe with the chest open, or you can inhale, raise the arms, circling them around to above your head, and exhaling them, lowering down the center line. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale down the center line. One more time, inhale, lift, and exhale down. I imagine you're quite looking forward to getting out of this pose. So tuck the back toes, lift the hips, and step yourself back into downward dog. Or into cat-cow if you prefer being on the knees, depending on how your wrists are. If you're in downward dog and you'd like a little bit of movement, come into like a cat variation, rounding the back as you come forward with the shoulders above the wrists, then bend the knees, tuck the tail under, and move back through down dog, and then back through plank. So you're circling the body and cycling it. Now, if this isn't something you enjoy, come onto your hands and knees and do cat and cow instead. So there's many different options for this pose. It's simply a way of getting into all sorts of different spaces in the body. And then when you next exhale, lower the knees down to the floor. We're going to do those poses on the other side. Stepping the left foot forward between your hands. Stretch your back leg away from you so that it's comfortably positioned and you're getting the right amount of stimulation into the front of the thigh. Take a moment to set yourself up. Front ankle underneath front knee. It can be a little further in front, but try not to take it back behind so that the knee's not coming out over the top of those toes when we're doing active poses. Plant the right hand and then inhale, open your left arm up, revolving your body to face that front bent knee. Exhale, lower the hand down. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower. One more time, inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Using the blocks or not using the blocks, we're going to move between low lunge and half monkey. Pull back with your hips, peel the front foot off the floor. Lift the chest forward. Ease yourself back into low lunge, moving the hands to support you. And pull back with the hips, opening the back of your leg. Keep alternating through these two poses. Rather than focusing on being really strong in them, think about lubrication. The goal here is to help bring lubrication into the hips, the knees, the ankle, while also stretching out the back of that front leg and the front of the back leg. One more time, pulling into half monkey. And bring yourself forward into low lunge. Take the hands on top of the left thigh. Lift a little. Feel the legs engaging here. So you're supporting yourself rather than collapsing forward. The stretch won't be as much, but it'll be stronger. Inhale, raise the arms up, or you can keep the hands supported on the knee if you need to. Exhale, bring the hands down, center line. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, hands down the center line. Keep that flow going one more time. And then carefully release the hands to the floor, tuck the back toes, and sit back into downward dog, or you can come into tabletop. Working into that movement here with the rounded back coming forward into plank, then bending the knees, lifting the tail back into down dog, then straight back into cat-type plank. Or you can alternate cat and cow on hands and knees. A couple more cycles, wherever you have chosen to be. And remember, you can always alternate. Be in the down dog plank, revolving, and then make your way into hands and knees once you've had enough. One more full cycle. And then bring the knees down to the floor. We're going to come down all the way onto our belly. Turn your head to one side, let the arms rest beside you. Notice the sensation in your heart. Notice the cadence of your breath. As you next inhale, interlock the hands behind your back and lift the chest, looking forward. We're not trying to take this into the largest back bend possible. Get a little bit of stimulation to the back body. Exhale, release down, relax the arms. Inhale, lifting up again, change the interlock. So the other little finger is on top, and lift and stretch the chest. If you feel like it, you can take the legs up as well, keeping the ankles towards one another. And as you exhale, releasing down. Taking two more slow, deep breaths here. Bringing the hands to either side of your chest. Push into your hands, lifting yourself up through tabletop, and then coming into a forward fold, stepping your feet on the floor, fingertips to the earth or to blocks or support. Bring your fingers to your shins, stretch your spine forward, and inhale. As you exhale, fold down, take the fingertips to the earth. Then bend the knees, inhale, and come into Utkatasana, chair pose, raising the arms past the ears. Exhale, fold, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, fingertips to shins, spine long, looking forward. Exhale, folding down, bend the knees and float into Utkatasana. Bring your hands into prayer in front of the heart space. Take the right elbow outside the left knee and twist to the left, revolving the torso. Inhale, bring yourself back to Utkatasana. Exhale, straighten the legs, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, spine lengthening forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, lift the chest. Heart is high, hips are low, arms are stretched out. Bring the hands into prayer in front of the heart space and twist to the other side. Left elbow outside right knee, keeping the knees in alignment as you revolve your belly to the right. Exhaling, releasing into Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees. Bring the buttocks down to the floor and extend the legs out in front of you. And then bend up the knees and come around to lie on your back. Make sure you've got your blanket or your bolster handy, depending on whatever it was that you used at the start of the class. And lie down onto the mat. Take a moment here to settle yourself, get comfortable, make sure nothing's in your way and that you do have your blanket handy for when we go into Savasana. Push into your feet and lift your hips up. Slide the bolster underneath the sacrum or the rolled blanket, or you could use a cushion or a block, a pillow, whatever works for you. Get something that's firm-ish and supportive. And then bring the knees in towards the chest and stretch the feet up towards the ceiling. This is a mini inversion, an inversion without the fear, hopefully, and the pressure on your neck. Try and keep your face pointed towards your toes. So in this instance, do as I say, not as I do. Push up with the heels for a moment, pull the toes down. Feel the entire backs of the legs engage and let the feet relax. Allow the legs to float in the air. This is a really lovely pose to do at the end of the day, particularly up against a wall, in which case we call it Viparita Karani. So the backs of the legs, and particularly the heels, are supported then by the wall. The buttocks are really close into the wall, and it's a lovely way of bringing ease into the legs, helping with the blood flow returning to the heart. It's quite good for the digestive system as well. You can choose where to place the arms. They can be out beside you, they can be over your head. Take time to breathe here. If the legs get tired, you can always release them down, bring the feet to the earth. Or another way of keeping the legs upright but bringing some yang and some movement in is to start changing their position, perhaps opening the legs out to either side. Maybe bringing the legs in and crossing them as high up the thighs as you can, maybe wrapping them completely. From that starting position, you can scissor one leg forward and one leg back. And then change and scissor them the other way. You can circle the legs around. You can take the legs into Buddha Konasana, soles of the feet together and knees open. There's many different options. You've had a little bit of a play. For the last breath or two, bring yourself back into waterfall pose. The legs are hanging in the air. And then as you next exhale, bend the knees, place the soles of the feet on the floor, push in to your feet to lift your hips, moving your bolster out of the way, and return to your back. Hug the knees in, rock a little from side to side. Then open your arms out and exhale the leg down to the right hand side. Take 2 or 3 deep, slow breaths here. As you breathe in, prepare to move. And as you breathe out, bring your legs back to center. Readjust as needed. And then exhale the legs across to the other side. Keeping the arms open. We're not here for a long time. So even if your right shoulders is far off the floor, try and see if you can keep your arm open to the side. The pressure shouldn't be too much on the front of the shoulder. Just another breath, maybe 2. On your next in-breath, prepare to move. And as you breathe out, bring yourself back to center. Hug the knees in. Perhaps again, rock a little from side to side. And then as you exhale, return your feet to the floor, your head to the earth, and then stretch the legs out. Check in with what support is needed for you today. Maybe nothing, or maybe you require a blanket behind the knees or a bolster, a blanket under the head, a blanket over your body. You will cool down lying in Savasana. You want to maintain your body temperature. So do what you need to become warm or to remain warm. And then let the whole body start to surrender. There's nothing that you need to do. There's nowhere that you need to be. Settle down towards the earth. What can help you relax? Is it giving the toes or ankles a little wriggle? Is it releasing through the fingers, the wrists, the hands? You need to shrug or move one or both shoulders or shoulder blades. Can you let the whole front of your body be relaxed? The whole back side of the body becoming heavy against the floor. Bring your attention onto your breathing. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just breathe. Releasing your focus on your breathing. Begin to prepare your body for movement. Starting small, wriggling fingers and toes. Building up, just stretching out your limbs, reaching your arms and your feet apart, opening your body. When you're ready to, bending your knees. And either rolling to your side first or making your way directly up to sitting. Bringing the hands together in prayer position in front of the heart space. Edges of the thumbs lightly touching the body. Bowing the head. In honour of your practice. Namaste.